Listen, that's a voice I tune in to weekly, Tracy G.
That's true.
I wish he could have read me bedtime stories as a youth.
You wouldn't lie about that.
I would have slept a lot better. He and his wife always amazes me with their insight, their dedication to community, not just on the national level, on a global level. Mm-hmm. They speak positivity, the truth. You know, they stay on their square. They're human beings. They're not perfect. We all are with flaw, you know, but they dedicated their life to a purpose. And they've been steadfast since I've known them. And I knew them from TV prior to meeting them in person. And we bullied them on our show some years ago, Heather B., you remember?
Yeah, we was like, come over here. You need to talk to us.
And from there, it's been a really great relationship with them. We've done work outside of radio, outside of TV. We've been into communities, especially the lovely city of Detroit. Yeah. And we've done some work together, and I've actually had a chance to go to one of their churches in the stadium, Heather. This is not the same kind of church that I grew up in, Bethel Baptist in downtown Oakland.
No, not the same.
It's a little different.
Okay.
By the tune of maybe 70 million people, but it serves the same purpose. And I'm honored to have them back today. It's been years since we actually seen them in person. You know, and it's great to see that they're healthy, they're doing well, family's doing well, the church is doing well, Lakewood Church, and welcome them back to the show. Joel and Victoria Osteen are here.
Hey, Sway, it's great to be with you guys.
Thank you.
So good seeing you both.
This is where it's happening right here.
Oh, you know, Victoria, you know what it is. Come on.
Every time we come to Sirius, you say, let's go down and see Sway, y'all.
Yeah, come on, right now.
Is.
Well, you know, this is you know, we've always spoke candidly and been open, and I follow your ministries. And I really enjoy. I was trying to tell Rory I was watching something one night. I don't even know what it was, and I can't think of the title, what you call this series. But you were speaking. You had your family at a table. All of you guys were at a table. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I think we did something on like Your Best Life Now. Yeah, I think it was that.
Yeah. And I never saw the brothers and the siblings and all of that. I didn't know it was such a family business.
Yeah. My brother Paul's a surgeon, and he works with the ministry. Mm-hmm. Obviously doesn't do surgery there, but he's in Africa now. He spends about 4 or 5 months a year in Africa, and he's back there in those little villages, and he operates on people that wouldn't have any medical help without somebody like him being over there. So feel blessed to have him. Victoria's brother works with us, and my sister's a minister too, and so. There's a bunch of us, Sway. Yeah.
Your mom's still around. Your
mom's 88 doing
years
great.
old.
God bless. Very young.
Not like your grandmother, 107.
My grandmother, 107. She put your mom on punishment. Put on timeout. You
got some great genes, Sway.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
We're going to be here a long time, me and you both.
God willing.
Amen.
Right. Yeah, you got great genes too, man.
Amen.
So what is the secret? Like, it's hard enough working with your spouse. You know what I mean? Like, but with family members, we often talk about working with family members, how difficult that is. Did y'all have a orientation? How did y'all do this?
Right. Well,
We've had several orientations.
Yeah, we've had some. We try to keep respect there. We don't always agree on everything, but I'm blessed because I'm the younger one, so my older brother and my older sister, they're in a sense, say this in the right way, they're working for me, but they're very honorable, and we believe we're working under God, and to me, we're working all together as a team. And there are some times that we have to make decisions that somebody may not agree with, but we try to do it respectfully, and most of the time it's been good. But I mean, I think with any family, there's dynamic relationships, and to me, we've just learned to let's keep it respectful, guys.
Yeah, okay. I think it's best when everybody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know what? And they're doing what they do best. And when they stay in their own lane, I think if we can all stay in our own lanes, it helps a lot. It doesn't always happen that way, but I think that's and Joel's really good about giving, permission, basically to run with some things. He's not like this. He's not a micromanager. He's
not
lets
like
them
the dictator type.
No,
Joel
he's not.
No, okay.
He takes his hand off of the whip. No, but I think that helps too, because sometimes we have to realize family, you know, I mean, a lot of times we're trying to get to the same place, but we just have different ways of going.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where the confusion gets in, and that's where the, you know, the
fighting. You could say
misunderstanding.
you're not going to use the word.
Misunderstanding is. The yelling and the screaming.
Yeah.
That's good to hear, because I know the Osteens be having fights. We just don't.
Oh my gosh.
We just don't hear about it.
That's
Are
funny.
all family members you guys have Christian? Is there any family member that maybe has explored another spiritual path?
No, not immediate family. No, we're all believers in Christ, and so no, we grew up that way, and nobody's really strayed, but you know, not really.
That's
Joe,
powerful.
you mentioned that are you the youngest of all the siblings?
Well, there's 5, but I'm the next to youngest.
Next to
I said
youngest.
youngest, but yeah.
Was obviously, I mean, because people know you and your wife, you are, for lack of a better word, the most famous. You know, when people recognize you every single day. Was it difficult? I know you're a big sports fan. Maybe you wanted to be a star athlete, and maybe you didn't see the fame that way, sort of. Was it difficult coming into that, especially as a younger sibling?
It was difficult because I worked 17 years behind the scenes at my dad's church doing the production. So never dreamed I'd be a minister. Never dreamed I'd be out in front of people. No, I didn't.
Wow.
I was so quiet and more reserved, and my dad used to ask me during that time, "Why don't you get up here and minister?" And I thought, I had nothing to say. And plus, I couldn't get up in front of people, so I didn't know this was in me. So my dad died, had a heart attack. I knew I was supposed to step up, never dreaming the church would grow. And then all of a sudden people started coming, and somehow people started listening, because my dad had a weekly program there. The church was on television. Then all of a sudden they see me on there. And it started to grow, but there started to become some notoriety, and it's still very odd to me to this day, because I don't feel any different. I mean, Sway, you deal with it more than me, but
Oh my gosh,
I don't feel any different.
Joel,
You know?
don't say that. Are you
Please
saying I'm
don't.
closer to God than you, Joel? Is that what you're saying, Joel?
I'm speaking faith. I'm speaking faith over you, Sway.
Well, Joel, that now makes me curious, and Victoria can speak on this too. Like, when you guys are preparing for a service, because when I'm thinking of fame too, I'm thinking about how, like, a lot of musicians, they'll show like documentaries, how they prepare to perform at the Billboard Music Awards. How do you guys prepare to speak to the thousands and thousands of people that show up? Yeah. Do you guys write it in advance and then go in front of a mirror? Do you do it, in front of each other? What does that look like?
Victoria, you can speak to it too, but for me, I get alone for a couple of days, usually Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
Maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But, it's because I speak 40 times a year, almost not quite every Sunday, but it's a lot to keep doing that. So I have to keep filling myself up. So I take Thursday, and I just take that day to try to get quiet, read, think about, what's going on in the world, what am I feeling, and then Friday I write that out, and then Saturday I go over it. So it's most of the time, what I put my energy to is speaking on the weekends. It's that 25, 30 minutes, but I feel like that's the opportunity God's given me, and to speak to a lot of people, and I try to be prepared and do my best at it.
But at first, Joel, you need to tell, because there's a lot of people out there who are like, well, I'd love to speak, but I'm a little afraid.
Yeah.
You did it afraid.
Yeah, I was afraid.
You did it afraid.
Did it afraid, Heather?
Do it scared. That's what Rev Run told me when I was
it's
dealing
good.
with the spirit of fear. He said, do it scared.
I know. I think sometimes we think it's going to go away.
Right.
God, when that goes away and I get the courage, but no, you have to step in. You told that Victoria about stepping across that line of fear. Well, when my dad passed and I had to get up there were 6,000 people in the church.
Whew.
And I was Saturday night I was quitting. Every Saturday night I thought I'm not getting up there. I'd have to go look at myself in the mirror, and I just quote scripture, Joel, you can do this. You can do all things through Christ. You're strong in the Lord. And I'd talk to myself the right way, because fear, you can talk yourself into your dreams, or you can talk yourself out of your dreams. And I think a lot of times we let the fear talk, I can't do this, but I just talked to myself the right way. I stepped across that line of fear. And you know what, Sway, my thought was, I've never been a minister, and if I get up there and fail, it won't be the first thing I failed at. Okay. But I'm going to take this step of faith, because I don't want to go to my grave thinking, what if I would have stepped up when my dad passed? And so maybe somebody's listening today, you're waiting for all the what ifs, but sometimes you just take that step of faith. And to me, hey, God, if I miss it, I'm going to miss it with a pure heart. And I believe you'll somehow, make it all work out. But hey, I think we have to take some risk.
He just did what he does on TV.
Hello.
This all just happened right
Tuesday
there.
just turned into Sunday.
Turned it into something. I ain't mad at it. But I want to ask you guys a couple questions, too, about what's going on in the world. But before I do that, I got a chance to meet your kids when we were out in Houston once, and we went on the field, and I got a chance to see the big show. And how old are your kids now, Victoria?
Our son just turned 27, and our daughter's 23.
Wow.
So we were having this conversation today about being responsible. Well, how did we phrase this? You're responsible for your kids' decisions at a certain age, and then they reach a certain age, and they kind of like I got a 23-year-old, and prior to her, before she was 18, I was responsible for the decisions that she's made. The choices she made was going to impact all of us. It's a trickle-down effect.
You said the only thing you own as a parent are the consequences of your child's decisions.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
You don't own them.
I'm curious. Your children have grown up in the limelight, so to speak, and but they're human.
Yeah.
Have you had to own any choices that they made that you didn't disagree with? I mean, that you disagree with?
Well, I wish I was still making their decisions.
That's real.
Truthfully. Yeah. But yeah, that's one thing as a parent, to take your hands off of it and hope you put in them the right stuff.
Yeah.
Hope that you prepared them. But listen, part of growing and part of learning is making the wrong choices every once in a while. You know, I mean, that's how you learn.
Yeah.
You know? And so I've been very fortunate that my children haven't made any really detrimental decisions that have really, been a big problem. But, I mean, when if they do things like if they do things that I think they should do differently, whether it's the way they eat, whether it's, just
choices,
so many things, I've learned to try to keep my mouth shut.
Okay.
I'm learning to keep my mouth shut. Let's put it that way. And try to take my hands off of it and realize I have to put myself back when I was 23.
Yeah.
When I was 27, and that's hard because sometimes you think you were the way you are right now forever, but you weren't because you were making dumb choices then too.
Right.
So you got to remind yourself that sometimes, hey, how was I at 23? How did I view this at 23? And I made it and I'm doing okay, so I have to remind myself of that a lot.
Okay. I could grow up in your household. All right.
But that's interesting then to me, Sway, if you don't mind. So
Yes.
then as parents now, and just to flip it a little bit, because you have children, you know what it's like, and we've just experienced something awful in Buffalo, and what just happened. Joel and Victoria, for you, if you guys as ministers, what if you were dealt with the task of that family, the accuser, you had to speak to them. This is their child who made this decision. What do you say, Joel, like Victoria? What do you say to those parents?
Yeah.
We know what you would say to the victims, but what about,
That's a tough one. You just say, what, God's going to give you the grace to make it through. Because you know what, there are consequences, and it's a horrible thing. But I think you just got to comfort them with the grace of God, because there's nothing good in the natural, and I'm sure. I haven't read enough about it, but I'm sure any parent is going to take the blame and what did we do wrong and all that stuff. And so I don't know. It's a tough one. I just have to go back to it's just going to have to be the grace of God that'll bring you through this. And I don't think your life has to end as the parents because, you got to quit living, but you got to keep moving forward. So some things we don't understand, and I think sometimes too you can be a parent, and I'll put it this way: I've seen parents that are great parents, Sway, and they make good decisions, but a child does something really, really dumb, and it's hurtful and it's painful, and I don't know. You can't fault the parents. I guess you can, but you have to say the parents, you know what, you did the best you can do. Now keep your head high, receive God's mercy. You pray for your children, but there are some things that are tough.
That's tough. That's a great question. What do you think? And this kid was motivated. You haven't read about it, but a lot of the propaganda that motivated him was race-based. very racist,
Yes.
very dark, very ugly. And that's one of the things I'm disappointed in when it comes to this country, is the racism that we find, not only, socially. We find it in our education. We find it in our medicine. We find it in our food. You could find racist ideology across the board. And for me, when I was growing up, I always thought that racism could be eradicated. I don't believe that now. I think it's something that's always going to be there. Yeah. What are your thoughts on racism in this country?
Well, Sway, I think it's difficult. I hope to believe that it gets better. I hope we can, society will prove us wrong and that it will get better and better. But I don't know. There's people that still choose to do evil. There's people that choose to still, judge by the wrong things. But I don't know. I come from an optimistic place. I'm in a church every week that's 30% white and 30% black, and 30% Hispanic. So I grew up in this very diverse church. So I feel like sometimes sometimes I feel like I'm naive because, I've just grown up and I've seen us all get along. And my dad's always taught, the respect and love for one another. I think I wish we could eradicate it. I think what I feel like in my life is, Joel, be an example of it, be an example of what it means to love everyone, treat people with respect, even people that I don't agree with. Yeah. There's a lot of fighting in religion, different faiths and all that, but you know what? Hey, we're all God's children, and I'm going to respect you, and I'm going to love you, and I'm going to treat you the right way. But I don't know, Sway, it's sad to say that what happened in Buffalo and the other things that happened, but I just try to speak to the hope and to the goodness in all of us. And, it's just people get wrong mindsets, and some of that stuff can get passed down. And but I believe that, we can be the ones to break it. I'm talking about individually. Can we love somebody? Can you get past that? And, sometimes you have to ask yourself, why do I think this way? Was this passed down? Is this... to not like somebody that you've never met is a strange thing to me, because you don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I don't know. It's we just try to live by example and pray for the peace and unity and show people that it's God's way is to love your neighbor. And He didn't say judge your neighbor, but love your neighbor. And that Good Samaritan, I love that, because the man that stopped was a Samaritan, and they wouldn't usually have any dealings with the other race. But Jesus, on purpose, He gave us that story in the Scripture to show us, here's two races. I think the Samaritans were despised by the Jews, or vice versa. But yet, that's who God showed us in that story, that was taking care of one another. The religious people passed by the hurting person, but the one of the other race went and took care of them. So that's what I've always seen is, let's live by example. Let's love one another, and let's, we stand up when we stand against when things like this happen.
Love it. Joel Osteen, Victoria Osteen. The book is Rule Your Day, 6 Keys to Maximizing Your Success and Accelerating Your Dreams. And then also, they're going to be at Yankee Stadium on Saturday, August 6th at 7 p.m., marking the first large-scale public gathering of hope and inspiration outside of Houston since 2019.
Woo-wee.
Tracy.
One of the things, Joel, I'm happy I have the opportunity to say to you face to face is I really appreciate that you're okay with saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine as a minister, your position in the church, some folks may expect you to have all the answers at every time. And that's a level of humility that I just want to say thank you for.
Thank you.
Because that's an example to all of us. And also shows that you're comfortable being a student as much as you are of being a teacher. Yeah. So I want to get that off. I'm not sure how often y'all watch Netflix, but there is a documentary me and Sway we watched last night because it's been trending. It's called Our Father, and it's about this very corrupt fertility doctor, Donald Klein. And basically, without women's consent, he inseminated them with his own sperm. Over 100 women. I bring this up to you guys because throughout the documentary, you see how he uses religion to rationalize his actions. And so I was thinking about that. I was thinking about Pastor Carl Lentz and everything that went down with Hillsong Church. And I just was wondering, when you see these type of actions, do you ever feel like, dang, you guys just took Christianity 10 steps back and now it's going to make our jobs harder? Does religion need a rebrand?
Well, I don't know. It probably always does, but I some of those people are my friends, and my heart goes out to them because we don't always make good choices. You said earlier about us, hey, we're all human, but I don't know, Tracy. It's we want to. I'll just go back to this. When I see things like that, it makes me search my own life and my own heart and say, Joel, walk humbly, walk holy, because you can hurt a lot of people. And so I don't know. I do think that in every organization, in every field, Sway, there's good and there's some bad apples too. And I'm not calling those people, well, some of them are, but I'm just saying I don't think we can judge it all by that. And so it's a tough thing, but it teaches us to, our decisions have consequences, and when God gives you a platform, hopefully, that you will steward it well. Yeah. But hey, back to that other, I'm glad you say that, because there's a lot of things I don't know, and I wasn't raised as a theologian, and to me, that's what I have to tell a lot of people. I meet them at the altar, Sway, and they got a little girl that's fighting cancer and maybe not going to make it. And you know what? I know God's good. I know God's in control, but all I can tell him is God has you in the palm of his hand. Can't explain it all. A good friend of mine, his son got killed at 16 driving home from a baseball game. And so I don't know, but I think I love you to say that, because sometimes I think, well, I'm supposed to know all this stuff, but a lot of times you just say, I don't know. I'm still figuring it out too, and I am open to learn, because I think the day you quit learning is the day you quit growing.
Amen.
And we can all learn something from everybody. I think that's where we get turned off to say, well, my child can teach me something. Or I heard somebody say, try to learn something from every person that you meet in general. And so I like that idea, because, I might even learn something from Sway one day.
There you go, man. Come on. Like how you said one day, you've been learning from me for years, Joel.
I've been getting my messages from you, man.
I'm trying to tell him, man. Tell the truth
He is
and
closer
shame the
to God
devil.
than you are, Joel. Remember that.
We said it. We have witnesses. Well, you know what? That makes me now curious. Like, what's something maybe you didn't understand in the past? We're living in a time where there's so many alternative lifestyles and things. Is there something that you didn't understand years ago, and now from getting more access, hearing more stories, I get it?
Yeah, I think maybe not a perfect answer, but what I've learned is everybody's on a journey, and where they are right now is not where they're going to end up. And I've learned not to judge people by where they are now, because you know what? We all look back and we're not where we were 20 years ago. Right. And sometimes somebody's just a month or two or a year or two away from a decision that's going to change for the better for their life. And I just, everybody's dealing with something, no matter how much you smile or how much it looks all perfect on the outside.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen rich, poor, every race, you deal with relationship issues or a health issue or a, financial issue. And so, I've just learned to think, what? People behind that veneer, they're searching, they're hurting, they're struggling. Who am I, and all that? And to me, it's about lifting somebody up and realizing that everybody's fighting a fight somewhere, and I want to be a voice that lifts up, because it's easy to pull them down. Like, hey man, why'd you do that or that? And I know there's a balance to it, but I feel like the theme of our ministry is let's lift people up, because everybody's going through something.
That is Joel and Victoria Osteen. I love it. Woo! Been married since '87.
Yeah, since 87.
Wow.
Yeah. Victoria, I'm going to let you answer this one. And I want you to be honest and truthful. I see the way
you always
look.
give me the hard ones.
I see how you look at this guy when he talks. You even correct him. You throw words in. I heard you say financial, Joe.
That's just the woman in me.
He's so cute.
And I know this is a general question, but it has to be hard because y'all work together, right? Yeah. You've been together 30+ years. 35 years.
Wow.
Is it ever a time where you felt like, hey, we need to put work down for a second and work on us? Has that ever happened yet?
Sure, absolutely. It's when you're together all the time, and you're working together, you're living together, you're having fun together, you're raising kids.
But when did that happen? Give me a time that happened.
Well, I think we have to reevaluate our relationships often.
Okay.
Yes.
I really do. I don't think you can put anything on autopilot.
Yeah.
And just expect it to work. I think you have to have good communication skills. I think you have to be able to speak truth to each other in love. We don't always agree. So when we don't agree, it's not the end of the world. We've learned now, don't give each other the silent treatment.
Right.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's learn to, even if at the end of the day we still don't agree, we just disagree respectfully.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we just talk about it, and it's okay because he's different than I am. We're wired differently. Where we just sometimes have two different ideas, but the key to this is we're more alike than we are different.
Okay.
So we try to major on the things we do agree on and not the things we don't agree on. And so I think we have a come to Jesus meeting sometimes, and say, hey, I need you to do this, or you've been doing that, or and so I think it's healthy.
Yeah.
I think it's healthy. I think if we don't, we're going to end up, holding things in. It's going to manifest in a different way. It's going to come out in a different way.
Facts.
So, but
See,
basically,
Sway? This is like me and Sway. We disagree all the time.
okay.
All the time. Joe, Victoria, especially when it comes to sports.
Yeah.
So, Joe, I'm going to leave this on you.
Okay, Joe.
Joe, who is coming out of the Western Conference Finals? Golden State or Dallas?
Okay, y'all.
Yo, we've been good for so many years. This is about to be it. This is where.
I know you're going to Golden State. You got to Golden State.
And we know you from Texas.
I'm from
so-
Texas, but I'm sticking with Sway, y'all.
These guys just stick together.
That's all. That's all.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, is it like a Houston thing versus a Dallas? What's going on with you, Joel, over there?
You said what he said, Heather.
In the show.
Victoria, you picked a wise one.
Oh,
Good
my
job.
gosh.
Good job. well, listen, citizens, get the book, Rule Your Day, 6 Keys to Maximizing Your Success and Accelerating Your Dreams. And they live what they write, because part of what you said is you teach people how to identify faulty thinking.
Yeah.
And you guys focus on the positive, what you have in common more so than you do what you don't have in common.
Yeah.
Recast your vision for the future. That's kind of what you talked about with how y'all run your relationship. You have to kind of revisit from time to time.
Yeah.
So all these things are applicable. Rise above your circumstances. You did that by taking this position. Guard your heart and mind against negativity, and I hear you say that all the time.
Yeah.
And that's something I practice daily. Guarding my heart and mind, and it's a hard battle.
No, it's ongoing.
It's worth it though.
Negative thoughts, boy,
Yeah.
they're powerful.
I know they come to us, all of us, and I don't they'll ever stop coming. But I like that phrasing that you guard your mind, because you're the only one that controls the doorway to your mind. We don't have to think every thought that comes, and I like to think of that. That negative thought comes, I'm gonna erase it. I'm gonna replace it with something positive.
Yeah.
Even if it's just, hey, God, I'm grateful to be alive today.
Amen.
Great to have some friends today. Great that I have my health. Because we all have something that can steal our joy. There's always somebody saying something or an issue at home. But you know what? This day's a gift from God. Once we live it, we can't get it back. So let's make sure we live it in faith, being good to somebody, being respectful, making somebody else's day, and seeing the best. And I think that's when you look up. Otherwise, Sway, we go 5 years and we think, I'm not enjoying my life. I'm just enduring it.
Right.
And I think we're supposed to enjoy it. And I know everything's not perfect. People fighting cancer and fighting, lots of stuff. But I still think you can find a place where you're content in what God's given me today. And I say, I'm going to make the most of this day, even if it's tough.
Amen.
Okay, I'm going to quit preaching, y'all.
No, man, you ain't preaching. You spitting game.
Yeah.
I like that.
Wow.
Okay.
And this is book number what, Joel?
This is about 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's how he pays his bills. He doesn't take money from the church, right? You pay your
I
bills.
don't. We don't take a salary. God's blessed us in other ways, and never dreamed my books would take off. Sway, I never dreamed, and that's part of the message is you don't know what God's put in you, and I'm talking about you that are listening. I thought I would be behind the scenes all my life, and that was all fine, but God has bigger things in each one of us, and if we'll stay faithful where we are, being the best, doing the right thing when it's hard, you're passing the test. You don't know what kind of gifts God's going to unlock on the inside of you and where He's taking you.
Yeah.
Joel Osteen, Victoria Osteen, I love having y'all up. Thank you.
Yeah. Y'all are real.
Always fun.
Thank you.
Always fun to do with you guys.
Sway, you guys are so much fun, and Sway's got so much wisdom too. I have him on my show
He
a
does.
lot, and he's got so much wisdom.
does. I agree.
He knows the scripture, and you're so
Heather's
practical.
looking at you.
Joel, this is the Joel side of Sway. Like, you got to hang around a few more hours, Joel. We're on 4 hours. You come through for a half hour. It's like, I love Sway.
Joe,
Me
you
and
know what it
Tracy,
is,
though.
man.
Me
No,
and
no.
Tracy, though.
Victoria and
Yeah,
Joe, they know me. They see, they look in my eyes. They see
Yeah.
what's there.
Yo,
Sway,
I'm
you
a-
are a great person, you know,
Thank you.
and people talk about how they love you, you know, and how you've made an impact in their lives. So y'all are all doing an amazing job
Thank
here.
you.
And
Yeah, I need to have y'all on the show next time.
Yeah,
you guys
please,
are awesome.
please,
We can girl
man.
power, right?
Please. Warn your producer.
Wow, Calloway. The nerve.
Okay, yo, don't forget. Actually, you could meet today, right? Today, you can meet Joel in person and get a signed copy of his book, Rule Your Day. It's out now. It'll be taking place at 271 Livingston Street in Northville, New Jersey.
Yeah, heading out there later today. And
6 p.m.
yeah, 6 p.m. Then I'd love to have you at the Come Home to Hope at Yankee Stadium. It's going to be a fun time.
Yes.
Sway, you got to come out.
6th.
I'm there. We're
Yeah.
there. Maybe
August 6th.
August 6th.
we could bring
Yeah,
Tracy.
tickets go on sale today too,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they're going fast.
Can't wait to see it though. You guys do amazing work, and
We
please
should get
continue.
Joel and Victoria to do a drop for Good News Thursday.
Ooh,
Right now.
Perfect. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, so
We do a show.
Okay.
Tell them about
Okay,
Good News
so
Thursday.
every Thursday we take them to church.
Okay.
And we started this during the pandemic because so many people were hurting and they needed outlets to speak about what they were going through and hear other folks who were going through similar circumstances. And it became very healing for all of us. Like the three of us as well would sit up and be in tears hearing these testimonies, and it'd be triggered by something or conversation, and then I would ask Heather to dig in her purse and pull out a song that was appropriate for the mood, and each week it's a different song. Like we have everybody from
Yolanda
Adams
Adams,
to-
to Tasha Cobbs, and Kirk Franklin. We just have so many beautiful songs to just sort of be the soundtrack for the testimonies on Good News Thursday. People look forward to it now. We've been doing it for over 2 years.
2 years, and it
Nice.
goes like 90 minutes, and it's
Yeah.
we'll play this song, and people call in, and you'll pull over on the road, and you'll shed tears.
And
Wow.
give
you know,
glory to God.
and give
Wow.
glory. So what would the drop be? They'll introduce themselves and say, welcome to Good News Thursday.
Yeah. And
Okay.
you're checking out Good News
You're
Thursday.
checking out Good News
On
Thursday
Sway in the morning.
with
Yeah.
Heather B and Tracy G. Got to add Heather B and Tracy G. Don't worry, we could do pickups. All right?
Okay.
Heather B and
What time was
Tracy.
it called?
Good News Thursday.
Good News
Okay.
Thursday. Okay, go ahead. Go for it.
Do I start it? Do it together?
Yeah, Victoria, you can start. Joel always starts.
Oh,
Just
let
say
him
your
start.
name.
Let him
You
start.
like him start?
He's got
Yeah.
it. I think he's
Yeah.
got it in his mind.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, everybody, it's Joel and Victoria Osteen. You're listening to Good News Thursday. Heather B, Tracy G, the one and only Sway. It's going to be a great program today.
I love these testimonies. I'll tell you what, it just causes you to just be grateful to God. And I just thank God that he can turn any situation around. What the enemy means for evil, God can turn it around for good. So hang in there. Keep pressing forward because God's on your side.
Bang. Bang.
Hey.
One take.
They do this.
They do this for real at any time.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming by the show today.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I love
Absolutely.
you, Sway.
Love you too, bro.
Love you
All right,
guys.
love you, Victoria.
God bless. Love you
okay.
guys.
God
okay.
bless.
All right,
Thank
we got
y'all.
D Woods, formerly of Danity Kane. She's now on Broadway. She's
Yeah,
doing
for
a show.
Color Girls.
And she's up next. You want to talk with D Woods? 888-742-3345.